Most teachers, most students, and most parents will agree that it's important to include a global perspective, an international look at the world in education. But when you ask them why it's important, they don't always come across with a real clear answer. So let's look at an example that might make this more intelligible. There was a small business that had a website, local in a medium-sized town in the Midwestern United States, and on their website they threw in a link to Amazon, and with the promise from Amazon that they'd get a tiny fraction of a percentage on any sales that were generated through that link. Didn't think much about it, threw it in at the bottom of their webpage and left it go. Then the checks started arriving in the mail. Well, that's cool. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but they'll take anything they can get. Let's take a look at the checks which Amazon sent. Here's a check that arrived in the mail one day. Let's take a look. Upper right corner, it was issued by an Amazon office in Luxembourg. Upper left corner, the domain internet address .eu. Down below, Deutsche Bank, the check is issued on an account at a German bank. But wait, London, England, it's a German bank, but it's issued from the London office of that bank. Now, the envelope that brought this check was postmarked Bratislava, which is, of course, the capital of Slovakia. So even if you run a small mom-and-pop business in a small city in the Midwestern United States, you still need a global perspective because you will wind up interfacing with all parts of the globe. International education is important not because of high-minded ideals about social justice and people's lived experiences, blah, 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 blah. It's important because the economy is global. Business is global. You need to understand it. You need to be a part of it. And that's why it needs to be part of education.